Guys, we're going to talk about crypto gaming. Why are we going to talk about crypto gaming? Because it's a huge industry, or it could be. But I do believe crypto gaming companies are taking it the wrong way. They have delusions of grandeur where they should be focusing on something else entirely. Now, if I look at all the big games out there, whether it's the first one, Decentraland, or Sandbox, or like that one Stars game, like Stars Alliance or something like that, or even Illuvium. What I see? I see these grand metaverse worlds that are basically designed for more like desktop, laptop play. A lot of desktop, a lot of like graphics and stuff like that. Even with like Exo Worlds and stuff like that, I see these grand big games that take a lot of money to develop, people, and you're targeting the wrong audience. What I really think they should do is really target the mobile audience, because that's a lot of money and people aren't as resistant. See, when it comes to games, there's two groups of people. There's casual gamers and there's hardcore gamers. Casual gamers are more of the mobile group. Hardcore gamers are more of the desktop, laptop group. And unfortunately, most of the crypto gamers have targeted the desktop laptop group because, like they can get a massive following. They're looking at things like World of Warcraft, GTA maybe, and other things. But unfortunately, those people are also the ones with the most resistance to pay to play. Whereas mobile gamers are much more used to pay to play. Remember Candy Crush? I mean, yeah, they have the advertising tactic, but remember Candy Crush? People buy those little, whatever the hell, like, poles or whatever, those things to help them beat the levels. They're not nearly as resistant. And there's also a lot of money in those games. Did you know that Candy Crush made $2 billion? That's a lot of money. So I do think like the crypto gamers should target that mobile audience first, which is far less resistant to microtransactions. I played a lot of mobile games before, Candy Crush, Puzzles and Dragons and stuff like that. They're all free to play, but they have a lot of microtransactions in them and they make a lot of money. Yes, it's sexy and it's very incentivizing to go make something like League of Legends, to make something like, World of Warcraft, to make something like GTA, to make something like, CSGO. I understand those are gigantic franchises, but they also take a lot of development money and talent. And that's something that the crypto game community just doesn't really have. Yes, some of them have gotten Epic Games and other big developers on board, but they still haven't overcome the stigma of having pay to play in crypto and games. A lot of players do not want crypto and games. They do not like the concept of pay to play in the desktop laptop market, but they're much more open to it in the mobile market. Now, I've played some mobile games before. Now, I've never actually spent any money in mobile games, but I know many friends that have. They're casual gamers. They don't mind spending a couple of bucks helping them to beat a level. I know, a lot of people that play like, Puzzles and Dragons or Dragon Ball Dokkan or something like that, and they spend quite a lot of money via the microtransactions to get the cards or the characters they want. There's a lot of money to be made there. I mean, $2 billion for Candy Crush. That's a lot of money. That's a lot more money than a lot of these big name AAA titles actually make. And yes, and like it's more than 1,000 titles that spawn these huge gigantic followings, and generally you have to have a brand name before that actually happens, and they don't. What I'm seeing with these big metaverses like Illuvium, like Sandbox, Mana, Decentraland, stuff like that, or like Star Alliance or whatever, they're targeting that audience. And you're trying to start off on the wrong foot by saying, hey, this is a crypto game. Those kind of gamers just do not like crypto games. I think it would work well if you have like a free-to-play game and you have skins like League of Legends or something like that. I think that would actually work well. Or even a subscription-based game. People are okay with World of Warcraft, but every little transaction in the game costing money, that's just not a very good thing. I can see like NFT trading card games doing well, like Gods Unchained. But the thing is, like, I think the game developers in the crypto world are targeting the entire wrong audience. You have, a casual audience, which is willing to spend money, maybe not quite as much money per person, not quite as much playtime per person, but, you have things like, like Candy Crush, Puzzles and Dragons, Dragon Ball Dokkan, whatever, that I think people would just be perfectly fine with microtransactions that they're used to, that they wouldn't actually just like, be like, oh, we're not playing this because of microtransactions, that you can actually wrap into crypto. And I think that's just a gigantic market worth multiple billions of dollars that you can tap. And it'd be much, much easier to tap than the retail gaming market of laptops and desktops or the hardcore gamers. And trust me, in terms of number, there's a lot more casual gamers than there are hardcore gamers. A lot more people pick up a phone and play some Candy Crush or a game like that, then will really, really get into like the big games. For instance, like World of Warcraft, especially these days where people's attention span is very short and just want a pick up and go game. Now, there are obstacles to mobile gaming. Apple is the biggest one. They don't allow crypto in games. And it's not because like they think crypto is a scam or anything. It's because with crypto, you get around their walled garden and they can't get the 30% when it comes to crypto. Now, the thing is but that could actually change. Google Play actually allows crypto now. And if you know, Google Play is very, very competitive with Apple. So if there's enough games on Google Play where customers are starting to switch to Android over Apple because Apple does not have those games, then, I think Apple will actually allow them at least to some extent. Maybe they're already working on an API that you can actually integrate crypto into where they get their cut. I'm not really sure if that's happening, but I think the competition will actually force Apple to basically concede that point sooner rather than later if there's a lot of crypto games on Google Play. In Google Play, all you have to do is tell people that this game does involve crypto. And like I said, in mobile games, I don't think that turns as many people off as in desktop games, not nearly as many. So I think developers should jump on the Android and Google Play solution and start making games, good games, by the way. So for a game, a lot of game makers just make this mistake. They try to spruce up the economic system and they forget about making a good game. Make a good addictive mobile game. Making something like Candy Crush, the mechanics and stuff shouldn't be too hard. You just need to do a lot of play testing and balancing. Make sure the game is fun. Release a lot of stuff on mobile directly, and I think you can profit. A lot of people right now will make games mostly for desktop and laptop, and then they make a mobile version of it. No, I think you need to target just the mobile market separately and make a lot of these mobile apps, mobile games on Google Play. Yes, Google Play does actually have more people using it than App Store. Each person just isn't worth as much as they are in App Store. Apple players tend to spend more money, but we need to get in that Apple ecosystem, and the way to get in that Apple ecosystem is to basically program apps and games for their competition in Google Play and then force them to let you enter the market. I think this can be done within a year or two if crypto games would just pivot towards the mobile market, because there's no way that Apple would actually allow Google to have a huge subsection of good games that they don't actually have. And eventually they're going to have to cave in and just let people do crypto games. So the thing is, I do think crypto game developers, there needs to be companies that are directly just focused on mobile right now, and then maybe think about expanding to desktop, laptop later. Right now, all the games I'm seeing, they're focused on desktop, laptop, and then they're like, oh, maybe we'll make a mobile version for it. And I think that's the completely wrong strategy for crypto games at this moment, because you're just going to face a lot more resistance from the player base itself. Yes, you're teaming up with big time developers, but I have not seen a popular game. And like I said, going after your audience, which has a huge resentment towards in-game purchases, not a great market to actually go towards. Whereas going towards the more casual game crowd that's more accepting to it, there's just so much money to actually be made. I mean, there's several examples, whether it's Angry Birds or Candy Crush, Puzzles and Dragons, Dragon Ball Dokkan, or any of those other games. There's a plethora of examples where you can make tons and tons and tons of money without actually running into massive game player resistance. And the player resistance is a big deal. Don't make any mistake, because that's going to hinder your adoption. The thing is, games need to spread virally nowadays, and mobile is the way to do it. People show other people what they're doing on their little mobile phones. They play on the way to work, they play on the way home. They don't want to spend hours playing like, raid missions or something. Like, there's a very small population that actually wants to do that, but they actually just wants to play a game that they can finish in 5 or 10 minutes. And there's more of those people than there are of the hardcore gamers. So to make money worth it for investors, I definitely think you need to target the mobile market instead of the desktop market, or at least have a branch of your company target the mobile market instead of your desktop market. I'm hoping to see a lot more Google Play games come up that actually have crypto involved, and I think that's the way you break into the gaming market and make profit at the same time. There's other obstacles, but I think that's the main one. And I wanted to explain that because I do believe that game makers are just targeting the wrong market and they're going about it in the completely wrong way. So let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.